If you like this video, please consider supporting me on Patreon. For just $1 a month, your name can appear at the beginning of this and many other upcoming videos.
See how shy I am? I talk to animals, I want to marry Discord.
Man, this fan service is just getting annoying. Oh no.
Yes! 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 Oh, I'm happy now. I am happy. Okay. I'm happy.
Of all the story concepts to be explored before the show ends, you probably wouldn't expect Angel's relationship with Fluttershy to be one of those things. We already thought the relationship spoke for itself, and the staff just played with the idea of Fluttershy having a stubborn little kid as a pet. But She Talks to Angel actually takes a pretty interesting look at it from an angle that honestly hasn't really been done before. Fluttershy is busy running the animal sanction while Angel is trying to get her attention, which results in conflict between them that needs to be sorted out. They go to Zecora, who offers them a potion that might hold the key to resolving their issue. But when they drink the potion, they end up swapping bodies and a whole bunch of Freaky Friday hijinks ensue. So now the two have to experience what life is like for the other while finding a newfound respect for each other along the way. The first thing I want to point out is how I really appreciate that they don't do that stupid trope where the voices swap alongside the minds. It's an extremely distracting element that makes the other characters look stupid for not noticing it, and it actually makes the episode much more detailed by just allowing Angel to keep Fluttershy's voice. Andrea Libman does a fantastic job acting out a completely different character. Taking on the role of Angel inside Fluttershy's body adds so much more humor to the dialogue. And she manages to make the role swap convincing because of just how well she plays off Angel's personality. She has the same voice, but speaks in a very different tone that matches Angel's self-centered attitude, really selling the idea of him being in her body. It's an incredible take on the body swap trope, where the voice is part of the body but the manner of speaking is part of the mind. It allows Andrea to keep her normal voice while also acting out the speech pattern of a different character, making the performance much more memorable. And it also makes sense that they go this route since Angel doesn't exactly have the ability to talk. They're able to stick to a temporary one-time thing while keeping it consistent. And honestly, Angel acting all evil in Fluttershy's voice and body is so menacing and funny at the same time that it really makes the episode so much more fun to watch. There's also some really nice detail in the animation, adding to both the story and the expression of the characters. Seeing Fluttershy with messed up hair over time really adds to how overwhelming her occupation can be. And seeing how she's still able to handle it with such a level of patience is really commendable. And when Angel gets exhausted and limps while in her body, the post resembles that of a rabbit. That's a fantastic level of detail. There's also the fact that they actually address the whole herbivore and carnivore thing going on at the sanctuary, so it gives you a better idea of how exactly Fluttershy runs things and keeps it under control. There is the issue where Fluttershy tries to get meat eaters to eat plant food when there are some types of meat eaters who can't digest plant food and need meat to survive, but I'm pretty sure they'll just invent artificial meat at some point. Some might criticize Zecora for what ends up happening in the episode, but when you notice what she says earlier, it's not exactly her fault. She probably could have told them the effects of the potion, but she also gives them clear instructions to wait until they were home alone to take it. Zecora didn't intend for this to happen, and she didn't count on Angel being impatient about drinking the potion. So it was basically Angel's fault since it was his impatience that threw things off. And I actually think that the setup for the story is a really good setup. We get to see both sides of the situation and understand how both Fluttershy and Angel feel while making a fair case for themselves. It's true that Fluttershy has responsibilities at the sanctuary, but she should also make time for her closest pet. And the exchanges between them are actually pretty interesting, like an overworked and stressed out mother engaging with her child who feels deprived of attention, and it feels like something that was necessary for the development of their relationship. It's always mostly just been danced around and never given a proper look, so in this episode we actually get more insight in how the two interact. And it feels justified because Fluttershy's occupations would cause her and Angel to not properly take time to talk to each other about their issues, which is what causes this boiling point in their relationship. And the best part is that they managed to keep Angel 100% in character while also making him redeemable and sympathetic. His behavior is nowhere near as overplayed or needlessly cruel as it was in putting her hoof down, and the episode also gives us more insight into his character, making him more three-dimensional. After years of nonverbal communication with anyone other than Fluttershy, it makes sense for him to feel so open and careless with his newfound ability. He's able to express himself more openly while showing signs of both excitement and relief, so he must have had a lot bubbled up inside him all this time. It actually indicates a rather dark detail about Angel's situation, how in spite of being smarter than other animals, he can't actually talk to anyone intellectually, including other animals. It would actually help to explain why he's so dependent on Fluttershy, because without her, he literally can't interact with anyone. But now he can do it without Fluttershy, giving him a sense of independence he's always longed for. And it also gives us a broader idea of Angel's mannerism since he's no longer being held back by any handicaps. He comes across as really sassy and spoiled, but because of how the story is set up, his attitude makes sense. He feels disappointed and angry that someone he's really close to isn't making time for him. He ends up feeling lonely and neglected and just wants her attention. And because of all the time he missed with Fluttershy, his frustration would naturally build up, which would explain some of his more careless decision making. And it highlights how in spite of his spoiled behavior, his redeeming feature is that he truly and deeply cares about Fluttershy. It's a factor of his character that usually gets overlooked, and I appreciate that the episode pointed it out. And in the end, he learns how to be friendlier with the other animals and better understands the importance of Fluttershy's duties in a way that doesn't feel forced. This episode actually feels like a redemption for Angel after the fandom have spent so many years perceiving him as a villain. And it naturally teaches him and Fluttershy a lesson about listening to each other, giving both of them a sense of character growth. I guess if I had one problem with the episode, it would be how after 9 seasons they literally confirmed that the stare is Fluttershy manipulating animals and relieving them of their free will. All this time we thought it was like a scare tactic or an intimidation factor where Fluttershy shows dominance over the animals to make them respect her. It felt like a natural explanation for how it works and why she would use it as a last resort. But nope, they flat out say that the stare makes animals do her bidding against their will. It's a really sudden and really dark twist on how the stare is supposed to work. And looking back on all the times Fluttershy used it in the series just feels really disturbing and unsettling. Is she like enslaving their minds and making animals into her subjects against their will? And does anyone besides the animals even know that this is what she's doing? It's really, really creepy. Well, anyway, She Talks to Angel was a really good episode. It actually ended up being a lot more entertaining than you thought it would be considering its concept. The story is well done, the humor is good, the character interactions are entertaining, and it takes a character that many saw as a spoiled brat and made him into an actual character. It's actually really impressive. It's definitely a fun episode that I'll watch again sometime soon. Now if you'll excuse me, I have to get ready for the Steven Universe movie. This is Map, signing out.